everyone. I hope you're well. I hope you managed to sleep a bit in this very hot period that we're going through at the moment. I'm kind of suffering a bit. God, it's been hot for a number of weeks. And yeah, it's kind of hitting all over Europe, isn't it? Italy's hitting 42, we're hitting 31, 32s, and it's going to, I think the hottest day is going to be Monday, I think 33, 34. So make sure you've got enough ice, enough beer, enough access to water and shade and that kind of thing, really. So I hope all you guys have a great day today, no matter what you're doing. Yep, I'm back with a transfer talk show. It's been a good few days since I last did it, and in that time, of course, the rumour mill doesn't stop. I'm going to be doing a separate show on my view on what happened in the pre-season friendlies last night, so that show will be going out shortly after this one. In this one, we're just going to talk about the transfer talk show. And as you can see from my screen, if I just sort it out now, let's have a look. Yeah, so if I just want to start off with what we already know about the targets that have been spoken about in my program and kind of other things in the media, is if we start off with Broja, there's no secret that he's up there in the list with David Moyes to become our kind of focal point since kind of Haller left. Which was January 2021, everyone. So the next window will be like the 2-year anniversary where we haven't had a striker in the squad, really. The latest on Broja is that he's finally joining up Chelsea on the US trip, which what it says to me is that the Chelsea manager is still unsure about what he wants to do with him. And also, interesting enough, what he wants to do with Conor Gallagher. Now, I thought Gallagher was definitely part of Chelsea's plans. But now, what I'm being told is that Chelsea want to look at him as well. And then they're going to decide as late as possible in the window, depending on who they get in, whether they're going to release them on loan again. And again, going back to what I was saying earlier on, that whether Conor Gallagher or whether Broja, how high up they are, we simply cannot wait until the last week before we know yes or no. We cannot risk that happening. So what it looks like, which we're going to talk about now, is that we are, as well as keep speaking with Broja, keep the Lingard offer still in there, we are still considering seriously bidding for other players while the negotiations go on, and that can mean really good. That means we're not going to wait for one target to waste our time. Puts pressure on that player, especially if he wants to come to West Ham. Broja, we've been told, wants to join West Ham. He's been to school in Berkshire, been on Chelsea's books. He's a kind of a London boy, and he wants to stay with West Ham. I mean, he would like to join West Ham above other targets, really. So it puts pressure on his team. If he finds that West Ham are moving on, perhaps to, one of the players we're going to talk about now, Gianluca Scamacca, 40 million. I mean, then his team put more pressure on Chelsea, really. And I know in the world, you've got your number one target, number two, number threes. I think when you look at it and you look at the players we're looking at, and we're going to speak about Luca just now, I don't think there's much in it in terms of quality, So if we do, for some reason, we miss out on Broja because of Chelsea taking so long, then I think we're able to bring in another good player, really. And the equal thing is we're able to do our business early as possible. Pre-season has started. We bought three players. Well, Areola was already there, wasn't he? Nagerd is there. Downs is in there. So it does kind of help a lot, really. So, again, pre-season I'll talk about in another show. So let me just share my screen quickly. So, wanted to talk about Gianluca Scamacca, is it, or Scamacca? I'm not sure. It could be Scamacca. I'm not sure. He's 23 years old, and again, 6'3", 6'4", six big people that David Moyes is looking at. I mean, I know Downs is 5'8", but he's quite tenacious in the tackle. And again, we'll come back to that CDM position in a minute. But looks like what West Ham are looking to fill and keep getting linked with is certainly a striker, but it looks like just one striker, and it's going to be a big money signing. So I don't know let me know in the chat if you're happy with us just signing one striker, because it looks like all the targets are going to be 30 million. This particular guy, I mean, he's 23, he's got 7 caps for Italy, 16 goals last season. So if we have a look at his stats, let's have a look at his stats by season. Let's have a look. There we go, 16 goals, You know, the Italian league, I know it's not what it used to be, but, you know, Sassuolo he plays for, usually kind of a mid-table team. That's not bad. And when you look at his footage, he's a big lump, but he's a very skillful as well. And again, big, strong people with good physiques is definitely what David Moyes is after. And there's not many of them. I keep saying there's not many of those number 10 Lingard types in the world, and there's not many of these players that are able to do a lot of things. A, being big enough, physical enough to lead the line, big enough to hold and keep the ball, have the strength and turn off speed. He's got it all. And PSG, when PSG are interested in you, you're going to be some sort of player. And PSG, as we know, have got a big checkbook. But on Luca, what I'm hearing from PSG is they're not going to go above 40 million euros. And with us, we're still in there. We might be able to do a deal where there's a lot of add-ons. But what I wanted to talk about this player again is that there's a couple of really good sources, and what they're saying is that discussions are at an advanced stage, that a lot of discussions have taken place, and we're perhaps getting close to some kind of deal really with the player, the agents, that kind of thing really. And you only go down that road usually if the player's interested. So he must have given a heads up of saying, yep, I wouldn't mind joining them subject to terms and things like that. But he's not said no. So we've gone in there with the club. A couple of bids have gone in, I think. Actually, no bids have gone in at the moment, but negotiations are underway in terms of being spoken about and whether he's within our budget. And the other question is, obviously, we link with left back, right backs, CDM. It's clear that although Downs has come in at 12 million, I don't think David Moyes is perhaps going to put pressure on him to hit the ground running and have that pressure of perhaps being Rice's number one partner from the offset. I think the idea with Downs will be to be a squad player and come in slowly, gradually coach him into a Premiership player, which I think is a good philosophy. I think he's still after his number one CDM, and I'll come to that in a minute. But when you look at the 3, 4, 5 positions we're looking to fill and the values of these players, I have to stick to my original point. I'm pretty confident in saying I think people like Souček, Benrahma, Vlasic, obviously, I think they're going to be on the way out. I mean, you can't do 30, 40 million pound deals, especially West Ham, and not get anyone through the door. And Souček, for me, seems to be the favourite, but the only worry is that no one has come in for him, and contract talks are kind of frozen at the moment, really. So Benrahma, again, there's no news of anyone coming in for him. That's a bit of a blow for people who want to see Benrahma leave, is that Brentford are close to getting the whole boy, aren't they? So him going back to Brentford isn't going to happen, I think, anytime sooner, really. So for Luca, if all of you guys, again, it's YouTube footage. The boy looks good. You can tell why he's got a value of, close to 40 million pounds, shall I say, because PSG are saying 40 million euros the most, and they're not budging. And this is another example of, if they wanted to buy one of our players, this particular Sassuolo Italian team, we're getting peanuts. But when you want to, and a lot of these players, when you look at their stats, they've had one really good season, whether that's Dan Juma, whether it's this guy. And the market is dictating that if you have one really good season, then you do look like a reasonably okay player and a few caps for your country, the price starts around 30, 40 million. That is just a fact. And if West Ham have only got, I don't know, 50, 60 maybe, plus whoever we can sell, you can only bring one or two of these kind of players in, really. So for me, I think, to compare him and Broja is a bit difficult. I wouldn't mind both of them, but this boy looks a little bit ahead of Broja in development. I think he's 23, so he's 3 years older than Broja. He's a slightly bigger, more physical. And Italians, famous for a couple of, 2, 3 things, aren't they? Great centre-backs, good goalkeepers and good strikers, really. So he fits that bill. And if you've got, I know Italy, the national team, again, didn't qualify for a couple of tournaments, 7 caps. That's not bad. So for me, he's got everything. But again, let me know in the chat. It looks like we're going to bring in one high-profile, expensive, big striker. He's going to be 6'4", 6'5". Is that kind of mould? And hopefully, like I kept saying, it doesn't slow us down. But I think what David Moyes is going to use him for, which Antonio, it's definitely not, is a good touch and can keep it and let the 3 join in our 4-2-3-1 system. And they've got 1 or 2 other things in his game. And this boy can certainly finish. He's nippy. He's good on the floor with the ball. A bit of an all-rounder. So for me, as a fan, I've got to a point where I don't care what we pay, as long as we bring in a good quality player. And if it is what it is, it is. And then if you're going to get Souček through the door for 20 million and one or two others, Zuma for 10, 15 million, that's nearly 40 million. And then you just chip in another five, and then you haven't bought a striker into. So this guy will certainly get the fans excited and kind of up for the new season even more than they are. So that's the story with him. It's going to be around 40 million pounds. It could be 35 plus add-ons, which take it to 45. I'm not sure. But the good thing is we're not just relying on Broja. We are seriously speaking to this boy's agents, the club, for a number of weeks now. And it's at a stage where it's at the finals, third stage. And that can only mean that they've told Broja we don't want to be messed about, which I think is a good stance. If Broja and Conor Gallagher, they do end up going to our rivals in the last week, there's not much we can do. I mean, if Gallagher's going to be on loan or Broja's going to be on loan, even though Broja wants a permanent transfer, then perhaps we still have room in our squad to bring these guys as on loan. Because I don't think Palace gave Chelsea any firm commitment to buy the player. So why should they do the same with us? Why can't we get Conor Gallagher on loan in the last week if we've got room? So, but we really got to nail our and being a striker. If I asked all the fans, who do you want the most? You're all going to say a striker. And looks like bulk of our money is going to go towards this new number 9 or 10 of ours, really. So yeah, for me, thumbs up. Not worried about the money being spent on him. Hope you've done your scouting report. For me, an amateur watching what I've seen, lots of footage on this guy, good stats. Very, very good, mate. Very, very good for me. Next player I'm going to talk about is this guy. Amadou Onana. I haven't spoken about him on any of my shows, and if we just start off this, when I said like Broja and Lucas Scamacca's quite big, this guy is the biggest out of all of them, and he is and we've made two bids for him, about 20 million euros, 25 million euros, and the idea is, again, going back to what I said about Downs, that this is probably the Souček replacement. He's a CDM. He's 6'5". He's one hell of a unit. I've seen him on YouTube. Again, even it looks like the person he's trying to tackle is trying to get away. He just gets these long legs and he just wins the ball back. And he's got good running power. He runs towards a box with the ball. And and the good thing is he's been picked up by Belgium. He's won his first cap for Belgium, who we know is one of the world's best teams in nations, isn't it? So that's a really good thing to know. Arsenal are very, very been linked with him a lot. I don't know if they've got enough budget to go around buying these 5-6 players at 50, 40 million each, but they're interested in him. He's a CDM. He's only 20. I mean, CDMs, I don't like to look at the stats too much because it doesn't really show what they're about. But yeah, he's got 1 goal, 32 games he played. So, yeah, for Lille, who are one, very, very respectable French team. He's played in the Champions League 8 times. So he's got good pedigree. And again, unfortunately, it looks like he's had sort of one and a half good seasons, and his value. I think if 25 million euros was kind of turned away, then I think there's room to go a bit bigger. Because Souček's going to get about 20 million, aren't we, for a minimum, I think. Let's see what's happening in the chat. Barry, good morning, sir. Thank you for joining. Hope you've had your Weetabix, mate, and you're ready. I've had my juice here, ready for the big day, mate. Look, running out of ice, mate. You're going to have to go out soon. I know what you're saying, Barry, but the idea is that the 3 that will play behind the main one will be like slash winger, slash speedy striker. So, maybe you can say Bowen's in that mould. Maybe we're going to get Ben Rama up to speed in that role. Maybe Antonio's going to be that one of those 3 in the 4-2-3-1 who can offer that kind of speed thing. Poacher types, mate, Barry, I think they're gone in the game, mate. I think you got Danny Ings, haven't you? Which I used to love, the big man, little man, 4-4-2. 4-4-2 was good enough for Alex Ferguson, mate. It's good enough for me. Yeah, 2 speedy wingers, 1 big man, 1 little man. 2 CDMs in the middle, 1 a proper CDM. The other one always do the bit of everything like Bishop. Monker, spray the ball around, put your foot in. That's the football I grew up on, mate. But it looks like teams just want to play that one lump up front who's got a bit of everything, But the good news is that I think in Broja and in Luca, they're very mobile. I think you'll see them as a more proper striker. I know watching Antonio up front's probably put a lot of people off in terms of movement, and being clever. These guys are striker. They've got that DNA in them, so you will see them always on the edge of the box, ready to receive the ball, flick it, and have a bit of pace about them. So when you look at the footage of Luca Barry, he's got a bit of pace on him, and he's very good with the ball on the feet. So I get what you mean, mate. Yeah, how you doing, mate? You all right? Yeah, that's it, mate. Good morning, sir. Good morning. Listen, mate, I've been outside gardening a lot, mate. Oh, mate, I don't know, mate. I've gone. I know you're going to say I've always got suntan, but this one's something else, mate. Jeez, my feet are bloody proper black, man. It's been nuts. I've got to the thing where I'm just in the shade. I'm going to go out and get some ice, top up my orange squash and things like that. And I might even buy a couple of more fans. And everyone's probably running out of fans, oh, we need 2 more and that kind of thing. And probably thinking there's nothing out there. We'll have a look, mate. So for me, I think the idea is kind of getting well known now. I think the last bid went in very recently, just a number of days ago. So it looks like Downs is going to be kind of like a number 3, which is brilliant. We always need 2 people for every position, 2, 3. So this guy, and if he comes in at 25-30 million euros, Souček's got to be going. It's not rocket science. I think he had a discussion with Brady Sullivan 2 weeks ago. It didn't go too well. There's been no change in terms of offering him a new contract. I think David Moyes has been a little bit concerned by his form since January, because I think the club were busy tying down a lot of players, but they didn't do a deal with him, Souček, because I think Moyes said, I'm not sure. I know he's hammered of the year 2 years ago, but even me, I wasn't happy with Souček. He didn't offer nothing, didn't offer anything at all. And again, there's not many players we can get money for, so we'll see what happens. But this boy getting tied down, and again, it looks like all the team's going to be huge. I mean, Areola's 6'3". You've got Nagard 6'3". You got Zuma 6'2", 6'3". You've got this boy comes in, is 6'5". The striker's going to be about 6'4". You got Rice, who's a beast anyway. So it's going to be, I hate to say it's going to be one of those Big Sam teams, but I hope not. I think we play better football than in his time. But even though I had a lot of time for Sam, so that's a kind of team with strength, and pace is very important. So despite these people coming in, I think they're very good with the ball at their feet, a bit nippy. They're not these big dozy types that take 2 days to turn around, because that kind of player is not going to succeed in the Premier League. So I think we're looking at good all-round strength. And another good thing, you can tell by the footage of Rice and Downs. Downs is a good lad, isn't he? He's fit. He looks like he's a nice guy. And hopefully we'll learn a lot of West Ham, especially under Rice and that kind of thing, really. So I think these are good characters that can fit the good dressing room that we've got at the moment, really. So, yeah, let me know in the comments what you think about these guys. But for me, Onana, 25-30 million pounds. Luca, 40 million, 45. Really good quality players. Really good young. Don't forget, our team is one of the oldest in the league. I think in the stats we were the second oldest after Burnley. So we need to bring that, we need to bring that average down and bring in some young players, really. And again, hungry, I think they are, because like I said, Luca and him have only had that one season, and Premier League is where all the money and the stars and all the ambition of every player in the world is. So if he joins the Premier League, I like to be honest, I think if he does well for us, then sometimes the agents say, yeah, top 4 might take you, mate. So I know I hate saying that, because I think we are a big club. But, so I think there's kind of hunger in these players, really. The last player I'm going to talk about, and then we'll talk about a few things that I can think about, is David Raum. Interesting enough, we all think, we wanted a right back because we don't have enough money for left back or right back, which I think is wrong. We need left back and right back. He's a left back. And I know Kresi's kind of Moyes' darling, but left back, 24. Bit concerns about this one, unlike the other two. I'm not sure about him. He looks like more of a wing back than a left back. And funny enough, when I looked at his stats on a couple of websites, they said tackling is his weakest point. And I'm like, what the hell's all that about? So he's very good at crossing the ball, no doubt. Let's just have a look at his stats. So, and the other good thing is, before I move on, I'm again talking about caps. So all those two players we've spoken about. So Luca's got 7-8 caps for Italy. Onana's got that first cap, very recent, with Belgium. This boy's got 9 caps for Germany. And again, I know Germany are not quite what they used to be, but that's not bad. But He's not your out-and-out left-back. He loves bombing forward, and we do need players like that. When we're lacking width, we need those fullbacks to be like, for example, Liverpool's, bombing on, helping the current wingers, so he can provide that. But he's more of a wing-back, and he does need to work a little bit more on his tackling. And the only concern with David Moyes, I'm not sure if he would really want his fullbacks bombing on too much. He likes to keep the shape and that kind of thing, not give too much space to the opposition. So 20 million value. Man United seem to have done a deal, the fans are saying a number of weeks ago. It's all gone quiet. I'm not sure about this one, and I think we need to sign a right back first and maybe give it and wait a little bit later down the window until let's get the striker in. Let's get number 10. Let's get CDM, and let's see how much money we've got left in the coffers and who have we sold. And then we just perhaps go for full-back positions. I know right-back's really important, don't get me wrong, but I think we can hopefully pick up a number of full-backs, even on loan if we have to, and then save up for January. I don't know what you're feeling. I definitely want that number 10 in. CDM is very, very important for me, and then a number 10 like Lingard. I mean, if Lingard comes on the free, that hopefully won't touch the pot too much, depending on the transfer signing on fee. I don't know what's going to happen really. But for me, I'm not sure about this. 24. I mean, if you have a look at how long has he been playing? 32 games, 3 goals. There you go, 13 assists for a supposed left back. That's nuts. And that's what I was seeing when I was watching him. I'm like, if you're a normal flat back 4 left back, which we kind of play more often than we not, I don't know. And I don't think we like to leave too many gaps at the back, really. So let me know in the chat if you know anything about him. But for me, I think, not sure on him, really. So those are the main kind of things I wanted to talk about this morning without the show being too long. For me, I think if I start off with Luca, for me, get this deal done, and I'll be happy with him. If the Broja deal's, like I keep saying, you don't want to go into the last week, not kind of waiting for Lingard or waiting for Broja. I don't want to even go there. That's good. That's taking a risk, mate. And then you're going to be taking down the cleaners. Get this deal done. And sometimes you might think, why doesn't he want Champions League? All that kind of thing. Well, the thing is, I think money talks. I think money's the biggest thing. If you give him a good, and again, I'm not worried about Sullivan's money, and he should kind of spend it, and bring him in and put the right clauses in and sell on clauses, all that kind of thing to get your money back. And if he does really well as expected, then hopefully we'll get more in a couple of years. If we are going to go down our route of selling, which I know sellers look at. So for me, it'll be a big statement, great age, great attributes, again, international, get it done. Onana, I like what I see, 6'5", powerhouse. Sounds good to me alongside Rice. We really need to help Rice this season. The boy went through, and I did say he'd done two men's people's jobs. I don't think Souček was doing much alongside him, really. So get these 2 boys in, and if we do get 1 or 2 of these boys in at the prices I'm talking about, I think my predictions are going to become true. I think Dupe, Vlasic, Benrahma, Lingard, I think they're going to be looking at the window. Simple as that, mate. And this guy, David Raum, not for me, really. So again, I want to thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a lovely, great day. And maybe in another couple of days, these deals might be even closer to being done, or maybe someone's going out the door, the ones I mentioned, even closer than I thought, really. So you take care. Have a lovely day, and I'll catch up with you with my show on the preseason friendlies shortly today. Take care. Come on, you Irons.